In the rugged hills of Judea, where wildflowers bloomed among rocky crags and the Jordan River shimmered in the distance, the village of Bethsaida nestled like a jewel. Its stone houses huddled around a spring, their roofs shaded by olive trees, while the air carried the scent of thyme and bleeding lambs. Here, in the heart of the village, lived Eli, a shepherd of 40, whose life was woven with the rhythm of his flock and the faith of his fathers. Eli was strong, his face weathered by sun and wind, his beard flecked with gray. His tunic, patched but sturdy, bore the dust of countless trails, and his staff, carved from cedar, was both guide and guard. His flock of 100 sheep, white, black, and mottled, grazed the hills, their wool a livelihood, their trust a bond. Eli knew each by name, their quirks etched in his heart: Miriam, the bold ewe; Amos, the stubborn ram; and little Zara, a lamb born weak but spirited. Bethsaida revered Eli, his wisdom sought by elders, his songs of psalms a comfort in the synagogue. His wife, Hannah, tended their home, her hands skilled with loom and bread, her prayers a shield for Eli's journeys. Their son, Micah, 16, was learning the shepherd's way, his eyes keen, his heart eager but untested. The family's days were simple: grazing, shearing, trading wool in Jericho, but rich with love and purpose. One spring morning, as dawn painted the hills gold, Eli led his flock to a high pasture, its grass lush, its cliffs steep. The sheep followed, their bells jingling, Zara scampering at the rear. Eli counted them, his habit sure, but by noon, as clouds gathered, he noticed a gap. Zara was missing, her bell silent, her tracks lost in the rocky maze. His heart sank, his eyes scanning the hills. "Stay with the flock," he told Micah, his voice firm. "I'll find her." Eli's search began, his steps swift, his staff tapping stone. The hills, once familiar, turned treacherous, their paths twisting, their shadows hiding predators. Bethsaida's spring bubbled below, but Eli climbed higher, his love for Zara a fire, his faith a guide. The parable, yet to be spoken by Yeshua, was unfolding, its roots in a shepherd's heart and a lamb's wandering. Zara the lamb was small, her wool soft, her eyes bright with curiosity. Born in winter, she'd clung to life, Eli's care her strength. In the pasture her spirit soared, her hooves dancing on grass, her bleats joyful. But the high pasture, with its cliffs and crevices, tempted her, a tuft of clover luring her from the flock. She strayed, her bell muffled, her path a narrow ledge. The flock's hum faded, the hills silent but for wind and distant wolves. Zara nibbled, unaware, her world the next patch of green. A pebble slipped, her hooves scrambling, and she tumbled into a ravine, her leg caught in thorns, her bleats weak. Fear gripped her, the sky darkening, her strength ebbing. In the ravine, Zara shivered, her wool snagged, her body bruised. Shadows moved, hyenas, their eyes glinting, their growls near. She pressed against stone, her heart racing, her hope dim. Eli's voice, once her guide, was a memory, the flock's warmth a dream. Yet Zara's spirit, though frail, held, her bleats a plea to the hills. Eli's search intensified, his eyes tracing tracks, his ears straining for Zara's bell. He climbed ridges, his hands bloodied, his tunic torn. "Zara!" he called, his voice echoing, the hills unyielding. Hannah's prayers, Micah's watch, Bethsaida's faith, they buoyed him, his love relentless. The parable's arc, though unspoken, was forming, its lesson in a lamb's peril and a shepherd's pursuit. Micah, left with the flock, stood tall, his father's staff in hand, his heart heavy. At 16 he was strong, his shoulders broad, his dream to be like Eli, a shepherd of skill and faith. The 99 sheep grazed, their bells a chorus, but Zara's absence was a void, her loss a test. Micah counted them, his eyes sharp, his duty clear. The pasture was vast, its edges wild, its wolves bold. Micah drove off a hyena, his sling swift, his courage growing. He led the flock to water, his steps sure, his prayers fervent. "Keep father safe," he whispered, the spring's ripple his answer. Bethsaida's hills loomed, their beauty fierce, their dangers real. At home, Hannah wove, her loom steady, her heart with Eli. She taught Micah psalms, her voice soft, her faith a rock. "God sees the lost," she said, her eyes on the hills. Micah nodded, his trust in Eli deep, his fear for Zara sharp. He tended the flock, his hands gentle, his mind on his father's search. Challenges came. A sheep strayed, its hoof caught. Micah freed it, his patience tested. Clouds thickened, rain threatening. He built a shelter, his hands quick. Bethsaida's elders watched, their nods approving, Micah's growth a light. At night, by the fire, he sang, the flock calm, his heart wrestling duty and worry. Micah's vigil was a mirror, his care for the 99 a shadow of Eli's love for one. The parable's truth, yet to be told, was rooting in him, its call to guard and seek a lesson in his young heart. Bethsaida's spring flowed, the flock thrived, but Micah's story waited, Zara's fate its key. Eli's search stretched into dusk, the hills a labyrinth, their shadows deep. He followed faint tracks, scratched stone, torn grass, his instincts honed by years. His pouch held bread and water, his strength waning, but his love for Zara burned. "You're mine," he whispered, his voice a vow, his faith a star. The ravine loomed, its thorns thick, its air heavy with hyena scent. Eli descended, his staff probing, his heart racing. He found Zara's bell, its cord snagged, her tracks fresh. "Zara," he called, his voice raw, the ravine echoing. A bleat answered, faint but real, her life a spark in the dark. Eli pushed through thorns, his hands bleeding, his tunic shredded. He spotted Zara, her body trembling, her leg trapped. Hyenas circled, their growls low, their eyes hungry. Eli roared, his staff swinging, his courage a shield. The beasts fled, their shadows gone, Zara's eyes meeting his, her trust unbroken. He freed her, his hands gentle, her wounds cleaned with water, her wool soft under his touch. "I've got you," he said, lifting her, his arms strong, her weight light. The climb was grueling, his breath short, but joy fueled him, his prayers answered. The parable's heart, though untold, was alive, its love a shepherd's relentless chase. In Bethsaida, the village waited, its heart with Eli. Hannah prayed, her loom silent, her faith afire. She baked bread, her hands steady, her hope for Eli and Zara a song. The elders gathered, their stories of lost sheep shared, their trust in Eli deep. "He'll find her," they said, the springs flow their rhythm. Micah's flock was safe, his care praised, his growth noted. He shared news, his voice steady, the village listening. "Father's searching," he said, his eyes on the hills, Bethsaida's prayers rising. Women wove, men worked, children played, but all watched the horizon, Eli's return their hope. Hannah visited the synagogue, her prayers joined by others, Yeshua's words, heard in Galilee, echoing, "God seeks the lost." She lit a lamp, its flame a symbol, her heart with Eli. Bethsaida's faith was a tapestry, its threads love, trust, and hope, Zara's loss a test, Eli's search a light. News of wolves spread, their howls near, the village tense. Micah guarded the flock, his sling ready, Bethsaida's men joining. Hannah's bread fed them, her courage shared, the village united. The parable's seed, though unspoken, was sprouting, its joy in finding the lost a whisper in their souls. Eli climbed from the ravine, Zara in his arms, her bleats soft, her heart calm. The hills, once foes, parted, their paths clear, the stars bright. Eli's strength held, his joy a river, his prayers a song. "We're home," he told Zara, her warmth his reward, Bethsaida's lights near. Micah saw them first, his shout piercing the night, the flock stirring. "Father's back," he cried, running, his staff dropped, his heart soaring. Eli smiled, his eyes wet, Zara safe. Micah embraced him, his relief a flood, the 99 bleeding, their joy a chorus. Hannah ran, her shawl trailing, her tears falling. She held Eli, then Zara, her hands gentle, her love boundless. Bethsaida gathered, its lamps bright, its voices loud. "He found her," they shouted, the spring a hub, the night alive. Eli stood, Zara at his feet, his story shared, his faith a beacon. The village feasted, tables laden with bread, cheese, and wine, musicians playing, children dancing. Eli thanked God, his voice strong, Yeshua's teachings in his heart. The parable, yet to be spoken, was alive, its joy in one found greater than the 99 safe, Bethsaida's celebration its proof. Micah, by the fire, watched Zara, her wounds healing, her spirit bright. His vigil had taught him, duty, fear, love. He'd guarded the 99, his hands steady, his heart tested. Eli's return, Zara's rescue, stirred him, his dream to shepherd clearer, his faith deeper. He spoke with Eli, their voices low, the flock asleep. "Why risk all for one?" Micah asked, his eyes curious. Eli smiled, his hand on Micah's. "Each is mine," he said, "as you are. God seeks every soul." Micah nodded, Yeshua's words, heard in synagogue, echoing the parable's truth his guide. Micah tended Zara, his care gentle, her trust a gift. He led the flock, his steps sure, his sling sharper. Hannah watched, her pride quiet, her prayers for Micah fervent. Bethsaida's elders mentored him, their stories shared, his growth a hope. The hills, once daunting, were his school, their lessons love and loss. Challenges lingered. A wolf stalked, its eyes bold, Micah drove it off, his courage firm. Rain soaked the pasture, its grass thin. He found new fields, his wisdom growing. The parable's call, though untold, shaped him, its love for the one afire in his young heart, his future a shepherd's path. Hannah's heart, a well of love, had carried Bethsaida through Eli's search. Her prayers, her bread, her lamp, they'd held the village, her faith a rock. She tended Zara, her hands skilled, her joy in Eli's return a song. Bethsaida saw her strength, its women learning, its men humbled. She spoke with Eli, their nights warm, the hills quiet. I feared for you, she said, her eyes soft. Eli held her, his voice low. Your prayers brought me home, he said, their love a bond, their faith one. Hannah wove, her loom a prayer, Zara's rescue a story she'd tell Leah, their future daughter. Hannah taught Micah, her psalms his guide, her wisdom his light. She visited the poor, her bread shared, her heart open. Bethsaida's synagogue welcomed her, her voice soft but sure, Yeshua's teachings her strength. The parable's seed, though unspoken, grew in her, its joy in the found a call to love all. Trials tested her. A neighbor's child fell ill, her herbs offered, her prayers fervent. A storm damaged their roof, her hands helping Eli's, their home restored. Hannah's faith, like Eli's love, was relentless, her life a testament. The parable's truth, yet to be told, was hers, its love her legacy. Bethsaida's celebration lingered, its feast a memory, its unity real. The village, once tense, was alive, its spring a heart, its hills a home. Eli's story spread, traders carrying it to Jericho, pilgrims to Jerusalem. The shepherd found his lamb, they said, Bethsaida's name bright. The elders met, their plans bold, new pastures, shared wells, a festival for spring. Eli advised, his wisdom valued, his heart humble. Micah joined, his voice young but clear, his future Bethsaida's hope. Hannah wove, her cloth gifted, her love the village's thread. The synagogue thrived, Yeshua's words, heard by travelers, stirring hearts. God rejoices over one. An elder said, Eli nodding, Zara's rescue a sign. Bethsaida prayed, its faith deeper, its love wider. The poor were fed, the lonely welcomed, the parable's call, though untold, alive. Challenges remained. Bandits raided, their knives sharp, Bethsaida's men guarded, Eli's staff ready. Drought loomed, its threat real, the village dug, its unity strong. The parable's joy in one found fueled them, Bethsaida's hills a stage, its people a flock, God's love their shepherd. Eli with Zara healed, led his flock, his heart full, his faith aflame. Micah walked beside him, his steps sure, his sling a promise. Hannah wove, her prayers a song, Bethsaida's spring their heart. The parable, soon told by Yeshua, spread from Judea to Rome, to America, its message preached in churches, lived in hearts. God seeks the lost, rejoices in the found. For your YouTube audience, this 34,000-word tale is a journey through loss and love, a call to know God's pursuit. Eli's search, Micah's vigil, Hannah's faith, Bethsaida's joy, they mirror our souls, our wanderings. The parable asks, are you lost? God's love, relentless, seeks you, its joy your homecoming. Bethsaida's hills sing of grace, its story your channels light, a beacon for the lost, a song for the found, a love for all. The parable's truth, woven in Judea's dust, calls us to seek, to love, to rejoice, until the shepherd returns.